What's up, Hyperdrivers? So I just finished watching the latest episode of Kenobi, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it. Now, later on today, we're going to be doing a live stream, and I want you guys to come back, and if you've already seen the episode, come hang out with us for the live stream. We're going to have myself and the rest of the crew talking about the latest episode along with the live viewers, and it's fun. So if you guys want to check that out, it'll be out tonight around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be live. But I wanted to give you guys my opinion about what I've seen so far, not just on this episode, but also the latest episode, all the episodes that have come out before it. Now, before I get into that, you got to take what I'm saying with a little bit of a grain of salt. This is my opinion. You guys may have a different opinion, and I invite you to share that opinion with me down below. I am a big Star Wars fan, as you can see behind me. I don't do this kind of stuff without being a huge Star Wars fan. You can take a piece of shit, put Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor in it, call it Star Wars, and I would probably find something great about the show. I do love the show a lot. I'm not being paid by Disney to say great things about it. I've seen some of these articles lately from CBR, from IGN, and sometimes I wonder who's actually reviewing these things. So that being said, I'm liking the show, but I'm not loving the direction that it's taken. There's aspects of the show that in every episode that I think are cool, and I'm enjoying each episode by itself, but then there's things that happen along the way that I wonder what's going on here, right? My adult brain kicks in, the side of me that is like, hey, I know this says Star Wars on it, but there's something not right with what's happening in the show. So that's really what I want to get into. So for starters, I do not understand why Disney cannot deliver 1-hour episodes for every single episode. There's only 6 episodes in this entire limited series, and I don't understand why we get these varying run times. Netflix is putting out Stranger Things, and every episode seems to be over an hour. I think the final episode was an hour and 20 minutes or something like that, and or 119 minutes, I think is with the runtime. And you guys were paying Disney Plus for this kind of content, and we're getting half-hour episodes, 45-minute episodes. It just doesn't have a consistency, and I wish they would follow some consistency. So that's one nitpick I think that I have on it. But the name of the show is Kenobi, and what I was expecting from the show was the character journey of Kenobi from where he started now, and bringing us to his mindset for where he is in A New Hope. And what I feel like we've gotten is, more about Kenobi going through this journey and then just delivering new characters that, in my opinion, don't have a lot of weight for the story at all. And I think that's the part of it that has been kind of disappointing for me. We started off the show with Kenobi, in a cave, and Obi-Wan is trying to communicate with Qui-Gon. He's having difficulty with that. We've seen that his force powers have diminished. He's trying to keep a low profile so that he doesn't get found. And over the 10 years, this has made his force powers diminish almost entirely. And he's drawn out by the Inquisitors, and they take, and Reva herself actually manages the kidnapping of Leia, which brings Kenobi out of hiding. And this isn't bad. I'm okay with that. I do have a little bit of an issue with how Reva has tied together the connection between Kenobi and Bail Organa, but I'm okay with just suspending disbelief and letting that be the reason why Kenobi has come back. The issue that I'm having here, though, is that they've continued to make the episodes, just a thing of either losing Leia or capturing or regaining Leia, and along the way, Kenobi stumbling upon different worlds and meeting new characters. And showing us, the Fortress Inquisitoris and that kind of thing. And while all those things are kind of cool, it just seems kind of haphazard. And there's no real character development for Kenobi. He started off the show defeated. He started off the show with no force powers or limited force powers. Kind of like the way Cal Kestis was at the beginning of the Fallen Order video game. But even Cal Kestis, along his journey, regains his force powers, and he gains his memory back, and he becomes stronger with the force and more better with a lightsaber as he goes through his journey. And while I know that the Kenobi show is taking place in a limited, very short time period, I still feel that you have a Jedi Master right here, somebody who's powerful in the Force, who was a skilled lightsaber combatant, skilled warrior. And it's like, it's just like when you go back to the gym, right? You haven't been to the gym in a long time. You can't lift the weights that you used to lift, but after a few weeks, you get it back a little bit, And I think that would be kind of cool to see with Kenobi. So, what I was kind of hoping for was that, you brought in Leia, and then maybe somehow Kenobi redirects the idea from Reva that he was involved with helping rescue her from her kidnappers. She's taken back to Alderaan, and that's it. We don't see Leia anymore beyond that point. And then maybe Kenobi draws the Inquisitors towards him, and he ventures off to other planets, defeating Inquisitors as he goes along the way, regaining his powers, regaining his confidence, all building up to this final battle between him and Darth Vader. And I don't feel like we've gotten that. We've had kind of a weak battle, kind of a weak fight between him and Vader, to say the least of it. I didn't really think that was good at all, in my opinion. I mean, it made sense because Kenobi didn't have his ability, so Vader can easily defeat him. But the fact that Vader had him and then let him go, ran him through the fire, and then he couldn't go through the fire or force choke the Tala from saving him, none of that really made much sense to me. How he let him escape that way, and it just seems like I've been just waiting for this final battle between him and Vader, which is what I wanted from the show, but we're not getting. Instead, a lot has been made of the Reva character, mostly because of the racist remarks against Moses Ingram. And I don't condone any of these racist remarks that have happened online. Obviously, if you're saying stuff like that, that's not fair, and it's not right to be treating somebody that way. But I also don't feel that you should be attacked for your opinion if you're not making these racist remarks, and you're just talking about the character herself. Reva is not that great a character, and then I'm seeing these all these articles coming up. Like lately, I just saw one from CBR where they said that she is the greatest villain in years in the Star Wars universe. And it makes me laugh. It's because you have to, again, take that with some kind of grain of salt. It's because you got to wonder how much these people are being paid to write this stuff, right? That they attack, us who have an opinion about the character itself, not Moses Ingram, but the character itself. And then we're being attacked is because we're not inclusive, and they're saying that, it's due to racism or anything like that. And I feel like that's not fair either. Everybody should be able to have their opinion about something. And as long as we can talk about it, it's good. I feel that Reva, at best, is a rehash of the Second Sister from the Fallen Order. And I think the Fallen Order, the Second Sister, did it better. I mean, in that one, similar to Reva, she was a Padawan. Her and her master were captured by the Inquisitors. The master abandoned her and left her for dead, and she became the Second Sister. And when this is all revealed, you could see the emotion in that character, the way that was done, the anger, the raw emotion that was delivered in that was heavy. And then when at the end of the series, or the end of the game, when she is seemingly about to turn back to the light side, and Vader is introduced at that point, the fear in her eyes and the fear that you felt when Vader came back, it was a heavy moment. Lots of emotion in that scene. Reva, has not really given us that, in my opinion. There's been a lack of emotion for her character. I don't understand the anger. At the beginning you see that lots and lots of anger that is just unchecked and unbridled and doesn't make any sense. And what I'm about to talk about right now is heavy spoilers for the latest episode. So if you haven't seen the latest episode, go check it out. Before I talk about it, but just being warned here. In the latest episode, we finally get the reveal as to who Reva was, which we kind of already knew, this. She was one of the Padawans that you saw there at the beginning of the show. We saw that she not only saw Anakin killing the other Jedi, but she was also one of the Jedi, one of the younglings that was supposedly killed by Anakin. Anakin struck her down. And that's something that doesn't make sense. He managed to kill all of the other Padawans, but left her alive, And then the way it's delivered in that episode, you have Kenobi on one side of the wall touching the wall, her on the opposite side of the wall touching the wall. They're whispering all this stuff to each other. It's very romantic, and I I didn't like the way that was delivered. There was no real unbridled raw emotion for her anger. I mean, especially for someone that has seen, as a Padawan or as a youngling, your hero. Anakin is one of the heroes of the Clone Wars, and he is striking down Jedi and killing younglings. You should be angry. That should deliver, some other emotion there, some crying, some mucus coming out of your nose and spit and shit like that, right? You should see some stuff like that, and we didn't get that. Instead, it just was, I'm gonna betray him. I did this is because I wanted to draw Vader to me, and that kind of thing. All of this is being done in an effort for her to get her revenge on Vader, and it still doesn't really show how she knows or puts together that Anakin is Darth Vader. It's because the last time she saw him, Anakin was killing a Jedi, and then the next time she would have seen him is Vader in the suit, which is supposed to be a mystery to everybody who Darth Vader is. So that part, still don't get how she made that connection, but that's where they're going with it. Yeah, and I just didn't really care for the way that was delivered. I feel like it was lacking the emotional weight that could have happened. And again, having her deliver it that way with the way the show has been done wouldn't have fit either. So, you would have to have a completely different written way of doing this. Maybe something happens between her and Kenobi where they're fighting and then they're left for dead or something, or they have to rely on each other, which would then bring this kind of emotion out. I think would have been a better way to put that. And I think we would have been able to define the character to be a little more endearing. So, I mean, I feel like that is a lot of the same feelings that a lot of fans are having. It's not really about the actress Moses Ingram. It's just about the way the character herself has been written into the story. So that's my thoughts on that. Other nitpicks that I have on the show is things like the CGI. I feel like it doesn't have as much CGI budget as maybe like The Mandalorian did. There's things that have happened throughout the show that seem kind of off, like when Vader was force choking Reva in the last episode, she didn't really look like she was suspended. You could kind of see the odd way she was floating in the air. Didn't really care for that scene too much. And then in this latest episode, we saw some things too, like the de-aging process of the characters, why they didn't decide to do that for Anakin and Kenobi when they were showing them as their selves from episode 2. They could have done a little bit of that. They kind of just look like they're older selves playing the role. So I mean that was, I mean, it was cool. Both scenes were cool, and I got what they were trying to do. Same thing with like Vader stopping the ship there at the end. I got with what he was trying to do, and I thought it was really cool that he was able to stop the ship, but the way the ship was stopped seemed kind of abrupt. So again, this is all kind of nitpicking the CGI a little bit, but could have been done a little bit better. I wish they had a little more budget for that. And then finally, the music. When we saw the trailer to Kenobi, the music had elements of Duel of the Fates, of the Obi-Wan versus Anakin music that was being played at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Some of the elements of the classic Star Wars music. And all of that brings up, those nostalgic feelings and gets you going. And I like that, that's cool. Like what they did with Solo, when Han Solo and Chewbacca first take control of the Millennium Falcon, the composer brought in classic Star Wars music, some of the music from Empire Strikes Back, some of the music from A New Hope, and he put that all in there, and all of that gets you going. It gets it fun. It makes it nostalgic. It brings more weight to the scene. And I feel like that in this one, even though we do have John Williams composing all this, none of the music has made a tie-in to either Revenge of the Sith or A New Hope throughout it. So it hasn't really delivered in that sense. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been feeling about the show so far. I like it enough that I'm looking forward to the next episode and want to see where it goes. Would I like to see a season 2? Yes, I would like to see a season 2. I'd like to see hopefully a redemption to some of the stuff that we're seeing in here, a continuation, because I don't know if they're going to be able to tie everything together for a final episode, especially if they take and they make it under, an hour long, where it's like 35 minutes or 40 minutes. I don't know what the runtime of the last episode is, but I just feel like there's not enough there to close this whole thing out. So I'm really curious to see where that's going to go. I do like to see, I do like that Ewan McGregor's back. I do like, his portrayal of Kenobi and the way Anakin's being portrayed, Darth Vader. I think that's really cool. Everybody's playing the roles, but I just don't feel like it's tying well together. So that's my thoughts on it, though. I'd love to hear your opinions, though. Let me know about that in the comments below. And also, tune in tonight to our live stream. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. There's going to be me and a few of us that we're just going to be sharing our thoughts on the latest episode and then taking your opinions from the live stream comments and, discussing it with everybody. So it's a safe place to reveal spoilers, all right? So until then, guys, thanks for hanging out with me, and may the Force be with you.